start. Naririnig ba ako?
Yes po,
Opo,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po.
Akala ko di ako naririnig. Okay, so let's start. So, financial aspect muna tayo. So, before, di ba, meron tayong marketing aspect, technical aspect, organizational management aspect. So, yung marketing aspect, sinabi natin before, is the lifeblood of the feasibility study. So, sa tingin nyo, ano naman kaya itong financial aspect? Kung ang marketing aspect ay dugo sa inyong katawan, ano naman kaya ang financial aspect? Okay, no idea? So, financial aspect is the heart and soul of any feasibility study. So, heart and soul. So, it seeks the viability of establishing of a business concern. So, ang bottom line natin, financial aspect is the most essential at crucial part ng study. So, all projects are considered viable only when they are expected to. Paano ba natin masasabi kung feasible nga? Siyempre, number one, be profitable to meet obligation. Dapat nag-generate ng income, di ba? Number two, be liquid and to remain liquid during adversities. Pag sinabi nating liquid, so yun yung ability na kaya nating mag-convert ng asset into cash. So, dapat gano'n ang isang business. And also, kailangan meron tayong sufficient na cash on hand para ma-accommodate lahat ng ating financial obligations. So next, grow in their ability to finance their operations mostly from net worth sources rather than credit application. So pag sinabi nating net worth, yun lahat ng asset, yung pagmamay-ari ng isang company, na tanggal mo na doon lahat ng liabilities. So mas maganda nga naman kung may babayaran tayo is galing sa net worth. Hindi tayo uutang. And last, so be able to service their financing charges. Siyempre, itong finance charges na to, ito yung mga fees, interest na mga babayaran. So, kailangan kaya din natin yung bayaran. So, next, major assumptions. So, in the formulation of financial projections, so assumptions play a major role because they serve as the foundation for estimating the future expenditures, expenses, and revenues of the project as accurate as possible. Since nga feasibility study, so isang proposed plan pa lamang ito, hindi pa talaga siya ongoing. So marami tayo talagang i-assume dito. Pero yung assumption naman na yun ay dapat based on well-considered, realistic, and workable facts. Kung mag-a-assume tayo sa financial aspect, kailangan may basis tayo. Kanina nga, nabanggit, di ba, benchmarking to other feasibility study. So kung ang inyong ipuput up na business ay, kunyari, ay sabon, siyempre, magbe-benchmark ka dun sa mga business na sabon yung ginagawa. Next ay total project cost. So estimates of the project's initial cost or asset requirement, which must be based on the materials, supplies, equipment, physical plant, and manpower needs of the project specified in the technical portion. So sa total project cost, ang ini-indicate dito ay yung mga projected expenses na na-acquire noong mag-uumpisa pa lamang ang isang business. So ito yung example ng ating total project cost. Siyempre, nung mag-uumpisa ang business, kailangan magpa-register, magkumuha ng license, permits. So yan, lahat ng mga kailangan bayaran. And then siyempre, sa planning stage, ito yung nagastos, employee seminar and training, Also, syempre yung ating sabi nga nabanggit dito ay yung physical plant. So kung bumili kayo ng lupa, so yun, nakalagay dito. So factory buildings, production equipments, other equipments, and ayan, mga supplies. So nakalagay lahat. So nakalagay lahat ng expenses from dun sa ating preparation stage hanggang dun sa final implementation ng project. So next ay financial scheme and sources. So, ang nakalagay dito sa financial scheme and sources ay yung mga source of funds para makapag-establish tayo ng business or ng isang company. So, unang gagawin is list the alternative sources of finance. So, pwedeng sarili nyong pera, pwedeng kumuha kayo ng investors, pwedeng kumuha kayo ng sponsors, mga ganun, or mag-credit application kayo, for example, sa mga SSS, ganyan. And then number 2, determine sources selected or proposed as a function of maximum profitability. So, kapag meron na kayong list, syempre, ilalagay nyo kung sino ba, saan manggagaling yung pinakamalaking portion ng pera. So, yung, kumbaga sa capital, kanino manggagaling yung pinakamalaki. Parang share. Paano yung percentage ng mga share? And then number 3, finalize the amount and terms for each source selected. So kung meron ng mga percentages, magkano yung manggagaling na pera sa kanila. Then state the status of financing from each source. And pinpoint alternative sources of financing in order of priority. So kung sino may pinakamataas sa percentage, dapat lagi nasa may bandang unahan siya. Sino may pinakamaliit na percentage ng share, di ay pinakamalaki hanggang pinakamaliit. So ito yung example. So dito ay nanggaling sa sarili nilang pera yung kanilang capital. So hindi sila nag-loan application, hindi sila kumuha ng sponsors, na investors. And then tulad-tulad lang sila ng percentage. Kaya tulad-tulad lang sila ng ibibigay na pera. Nagbigay sila each ng 5,200,000. So, ang total nila na capital is 26 million. So, next, guidelines in formulating assumptions. So, number 1. So, existing business practices in the industry where the project belongs may provide some valuable information and insights. So, sabi nga natin, major assumption talaga ang financial aspect. So, ito yung mga pwede nating basis sa paggawa natin ng assumption. So, number 1 ay, so mga business practices. So, ito yung mga best ways of working para ma-achieve natin yung ating objective. So, for example, pag naaabot yung sales, yan, naabot niyo yung sales, magbibigay kayo ng incentive sa employee. So, nakalagay yun sa inyong assumption. For example, ay nagtataas kayo ng 0.3% sa sweldo. So, yun, pwede niyo ilagay yun sa assumption. Number 2, previously made feasibility studies directly related to the project may contribute additional factors to be considered. So kung may nakita kayong data doon sa inyong pinag-benchmarkan na study, so pwede nyo rin siya idagdag sa inyong assumption. As long as related yung project nila dun sa inyong project. Number 3, governmental regulations and incentives directly or indirectly affect the project. Siyempre, lagi tayong magbe-base sa mga government regulations. So, ito yung mga law na nagko-control kapag nag-operate na tayo ng business. So, for example, mga tax, pwede nyo ilagay sa inyong assumptions, mga employee wages, kung magkano, di ba meron tayong mga minimum, depende sa lugar kung saan magtatrabaho. Yun, pwede nyo din ilagay. Also, yung mga business registration, pwede nyo din ilagay sa inyong assumptions. And other pertinent data which can justify the assumptions of the study. Basta may kinalaman sa inyong project, so kung meron kayong idadagdag na assumption, so ilagay nyo lang sa inyong list of assumptions. So we have example. So example of list of financial assumptions. So nakalagay dito yung sa depreciation, also the income tax, so 30%. Then salaries and wages, so nag-i-increase. Then payday, so every 15 and 30th, kasi nag-iiba-iba nga naman sa mga business. Merong mga 10, 25, meron ay per month kung magpasweldo. And then next, mga SSS, PhilHealth, mga Home Development Mutual Fund, so, pwede nyo rin idagdag sa assumptions. Utilities and other expenses. Siyempre yung sales and quantity na nabebenta, kailangan yan sa inyong financial aspect. The target market share na ginamit nyo sa inyong marketing aspect, pwede nyo ring ilagay sa inyong financial assumption. And yung mga pricing strategy. So kung meron pa kayo naiisip, kasi nag-iiba-iba naman kasi ito, nagbabari siya, depende sa business na maiisip nyo. So kung meron pa kayo maiisip na assumption na kailangan dun sa inyong, lalong-lalo na dun sa inyong financial statement, so pwede nyo ilagay sa inyong financial assumptions. So next, so financial statement. So we have 3 na ginagawa dito sa financial statement. So incomes, ang una ay income statement. So the computation of the project cost, total revenues, total cost for one period or fiscal year, so thereby arriving at the concerned net income or deficit with the period together with its performance in terms of profitability and cost control. So dito sa income statement, makikita nyo dyan yung sales, expenses, and also yung net income. So tapusin lang natin yung tatlo. Magpapakita ko sa inyo ng Excel file ng income statement and other financial statements. So next ay cash flow statement. So a systematic presentation of cash receipts and disbursements for a given operating period or fiscal year. So taking for granted the accrual concept in accounting. So di ba may accounting na kayo? So na-discuss ba sa inyo yung accrual accounting? O na ano kayo, naabutan ba kayo ng ano, ng pandemic dito sa inyong accounting?
Opo, ma'am.
Opo, ma'am.
Yung sa managerial po, ma'am.
Nakaabot kayo ng mga pagbabalance, mga balance sheet, pinagbabalance yung mga asset, ganun.
Opo, nakaabot.
Opo,
Ay,
ma'am.
nakaabot naman kayo. Okay, good. So, yun. So, dito naman sa cash flow statement, ang makikita na naman dito ay, yan nga, yung mga cash receipts, disbursements, mamaya papakita ko naman siya. So, pag sinabi nating accrual, so, ang nakalagay dyan, syempre, ay mga revenue and expenses. So, mas maganda naman talagang gamitin yung accrual accounting kasi mas makikita yung overall financial health ng isang business, ng isang company. And last ay balance sheet. So yan, buti naman nakaabot kayo sa pagbabalance. So it shows the assets derived by the project from corresponding liabilities and equities or the net worth. So it is an overall picture of a firm's financial condition as of a certain time. So dito naman sa balance sheet, so syempre ibabalance natin, dapat si asset ay equal doon sa summation ng liabilities and equity. I-add nyo yung liability at saka yung equity, dapat equal sila kay asset. Okay, so pe-present ko lang yung Excel file. Kita? Hanggang dito lang kaya kung palakihin eh. Ay, wala. Kita na?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ayan. Nababasa naman yung mga numbers, mga figures.
Opo.
Hindi ko na kasi, okay. Hindi ko na kasi kayang palakihin kasi mawawala yung mga ano. Ayun, nawawala. Okay, so ito ang example ng projected income statement. So sabi ko nga kanina, makikita dito yung mga sales, expenses, and net income. So dito, sales in unit, 'di ba? Tinuruan ko kayo doon sa marketing aspect. Oh, wait lang. I-admit lang ako. So, yun. Yung makukuha nyo doon, yan. Yung projected market share, dito nyo ilalagay. And then, yung price ng inyong product. Kunyari, umisip na kayo ng product. So, syempre, bibigyan nyo ng price yon per unit. So, price per unit. So, the projected price of your product. So, your product price in your price assessment will be the price of your product in your first year. So, it is up to you if how much it will increase per year. Pero dito, so, in 5 years, hindi nag-i-increase yung price ng product. Pero pwede namang nag-i-increase. Kung mag-i-increase, ilalagay nyo sa list of assumption nyo na nag-i-increase ang price ng inyong product. And then sales, so multiply nyo lang. Makikita naman yung formula dito. And then cost of sales. So cost of sales refers to the direct cost attributable to the production of the goods or supply of services by an entity. So pwedeng direct materials and labor, pwedeng manufacturing overhead. So kung magkano ang nagastos nyo. Kunyari, ito yung sa first year. Tapos nag increase kayo by percent, kung ano mang percent yung inyong increase. Tapos kapag may mga ganon, ilalagay nyo sa assumption nyo, sa list of your assumption. So ito yung in preparation na sa inyong feasibility study sa inyong laboratory. And then, total. So, summation nitong dalawa. So, kung meron pa kayong cost of sales na may dadagdag dito, okay lang, dagdag lang. Kasi sabi ko nga, nagdedepende sa kung anong business meron kayo, kung anong product ang ginagawa niyo. And then we have beginning inventory. So, sa first year, wala. And then, nagkaroon sa second year up to the fifth year. And ending inventory. So, ito yung sa year 2, ito yan, kinopya lang dito. So, sa year 3, kinopya lang dito. Yung year 4, yun yung ending inventory dito. Then year 5, ito yung ending inventory ng year 4. Ganun. Then cost of sales, yan. I-add lang yung tatlo. Then gross profit on sales. So, minus yung cost of sales minus, sales minus cost of sales. So, yun yung gross profit on sales. Then, operating expenses. So, yung mga expenses nyo, ilagay nyo dito. Yari, salaries and wages, employees benefit, yan. Kung may dadagdag pa kayo, pwede nyo Dagdag. Depende sa inyong operating expenses. Ilagay nyo lang dito. Kung ito yung sa first year, tapos nag-increase kayo per year, so ilagay nyo na lang sa inyong list of assumptions. Then, total operating expenses, syempre sa i-add lang lahat ng operating expenses. Then, income, operating expenses. So, gross profit on sales minus total operating expenses. Then, financial charges. So, sa first year meron, and then succeeding years wala na. Then, income before income tax. So, income operating expenses minus financial charges. Then, income tax. So, itong 0.35 is galing doon sa pinag-benchmarkan. So, kung meron din kayo, kung iba yung inyo, pwede nyo ilagay sa inyong list of assumptions. And ito na yung net income. So, income before income tax minus, syempre, yung income tax. So, ito yung income for the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and fifth year. So, yan ang projected income statement. Sisend ko naman to sa inyo para makita nyo din kung saan mga pinagkukuha. And then, next, projected cash flow statement. So, dito is yung cash flow from operating activities. So, yung inyong net income. So, kukuhanin nyo yun sa inyong projected income statement. Ito yun. And then, the non-cash item. Non-cash item. So, ito yung mga non-cash based assets. So, yan. And then, increase in liabilities. So, this is income tax. So, tax due, withholding tax. So, this is included in the list of assumptions. Basta pag may mga ganyan, huwag nyo kakalimutang ilagay sa inyong list of assumption. Para pag chinek ang inyong financial statement, yan. Alam ko kung saan nyo pinagkukuha mga figures na yan. And then total, so yan, pinag-add lang lahat, net income, depreciation expense, increase in liability. And then itong ating mga receivables, increase in withholding tax, and increase in inventory. So, yan. So, ito. Nakalagay din, pwede nyo din ilagay sa assumption nyo na yung provision for income tax ay 30%. And then cash flow from operating activities. So, ito. Add nyo lang yung tatlo. Ayan. Then cash flow from investing activities. So, 2 million galing sa capital stock. So, ito ay, hindi pala ito palugtong nung mga example ko dun sa PPT kanina ha. Ibang ano to. Ibang sample financial statement. Baka maguluhan kayo. And then, increase in fixed asset. So, net increase. Ito bali. So, cash flow from operating activities minus, ay C16 pala. So, increase in capital stock, so yung 2 million, minus cash flow from operating activities minus yung increase in fixed assets. So, yun yung net increase or decrease. So, in the second year ay nag-decrease. Tapos nag-increase ng third year. And so on. Then cash balance. So wala noong starting year. So, i-add yung net increase or decrease plus yung cash balance in the beginning. Then, ganun. Follow nyo lang. Net increase decrease plus cash balance. Yun. And then cash balance, yung ending. Wala. Yun. Kung ano yung sa second year, yun yung ending ng first year. Sa third year, fourth year, yun yung sa third year. Okay. So, yun yung projected cash flow statement. And last ay projected balance sheet. So, sabi natin makikita yung assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. So, ito yung current assets. So, ito yung cash on hand. Then, mga withholding tax. So, ito ay kinuha sa projected cash flow statement. C11. Ito yun. And then, receivables. Kinuha ulit sa cash flow statement. Ito yun. And then, inventory. Ito yun. Then, total current asset. So, yan lang yung apat. So, cash on hand plus withholding tax at source plus receivables plus inventory. The non-current assets. So, yan. Actually, itong mga non-current asset, ito yung nasa technical aspect nyo. Di ba, yung mga machineries, pinalagay natin yung cost ng mga machines, yun. Yun yung mga ilalagay nyo dito. Then total non-current assets. So add nyo lang lahat ng non-current assets. Then accumulated depreciation. So yan. Ito ang depreciation from first year hanggang sa fifth year. Lagay nyo na lang sa list of assumption. Kasi magdedepende naman yon sa depreciation ng kung ano man. Kunyari ng machine nyo, ng plant. And then net book value. So, total non-current asset minus yung inyong accumulated depreciation. So, ang total asset nyo ay C10. Nasaan yung C10? Total current asset plus net book value. So, ito ang inyong total asset. So, per year. And then, computation naman ng liabilities and owner's equity. So, sa liabilities, nandyan yung accrued expense. So, expenses such as wages, salaries, and utility charges, which are incurred but for which no payment is made during an accounting period. So, yan. Pwede nyong ilagay sa inyong assumption. So, ito yung start ng expense. So, nag-increase. So, may increase ito. Kaya mayroong multiplier. Then, income tax payable. So, kinuha dito. So, ang total liabilities nyo ay yun, accrued expenses plus income tax payable. So, ito ang total liabilities. And then, owner's equity, you have capital stock. Tapos, yung cash balance. Makikita dito sa projected cash flow. Ito. So, ito yun. And then, net income. So, doon naman sa income statement, kinuha. So, tapos, total owner's equity. So, capital stock plus cash balance yung beginning plus net income. And then, total liabilities and owner's equity. So, ito, add nyo lang tong total liabilities plus total owner's equity. So, dapat ito at saka ito ay magkatulad. Mag-balance. Ganyan ang sample financial statement. Okay, so balik tayo dun sa PPT. Okay, next. So, financial analysis. So, sa financial analysis, so, alamin natin yung liquidity, solvency, profitability, economic viability ng inyong project. So, una ay liquidity. So, it refers to the ability of the company to meet and pay for its current obligations. So, nasabi naman natin yung feeling ng pagiging liquid kanina, di ba? Na kaya mong i-convert yung asset into cash. And then next ay solvency. So, it refers to the ability of company to pay the long-term obligation. Pag itong solvency, magandang measure siya ng company's financial health. Kasi makikita dito yung ability ng isang business na ma-manage yung kanilang operation. Lalo na doon sa parang in the future, in the succeeding years. Kaya ang mga kinukuha dito sa solvency, puro ratio. And then profitability, this shows the operational performance and efficiency of the project. So, dapat nakakapag-generate ng profit. Dapat mas malaki ang revenue kaysa doon sa mga expenses. And last ay economic viability. So, the real returns from operations relative to the asset value and labor inputs. So, pag viability, dito makikita kung successful ba, kung magiging successful ba ang isang project. So, ito, financial analysis. So, ginagawa natin to para malaman natin kung yung ating proposal or yung proposed project natin ay magiging financially stable. So, ito yung mga measures per analysis. So, sa liquidity, so ang kinukuha natin ay working capital and current ratio. Sa solvency, sabi nga natin kanina, puro ratio. So, equity ratio, debt ratio, equity debt ratio. So, sa profitability, kinukuha natin yung gross margin, profit margin rate, return on investment, return on asset, return on equity, and yung OER, which is the operating expense ratio. Sa economic viability naman, ang kinukuha natin ay payback period at saka yung break-even analysis. So, magpapakita din ako ng sample. Sample study naman. Makita nyo kung paano pine-present. Kita na? Kita na? Nakita nyo na?
Ayan na po, okay na po.
Yun, okay. So, una muna ay, so liquidity. So, ng liquidity dito. Ayan. So liquidity, so sabi kanina ay working capital at current ratio. So sa working capital, meron tayong formula na current asset minus current liabilities. So ito kukuhanin nyo sa inyong financial statement, yung mga figures na yan. So yan, ito yung mga per year, then the current liabilities per year. Then current asset minus current liabilities. So next ay yung current ratio. So ang formula niya ay current assets divided by current liabilities. So yan. Ito yung asset per year. Then liabilities per year, then divide. So ito yung current ratio per year. Then measures of solvency. So ang sabi natin kinukuha natin ay equity ratio, debt ratio, equity debt ratio. So equity ratio, ang formula niya ay owner's equity divided by total asset times 100. So ito yung inyong owner's equity per year and then your total asset per year. So i-divide lang then times 100. So ito yung mga equity ratio nyo in percentage. So 93.83% sa first year. Then debt ratio. So ang formula ay total liabilities divided by total asset times 100. So ito ang nung na-compute na. So liabilities divided by asset times 100. Then equity debt ratio, so owner's equity divided by total liabilities. So owner's equity divided by total liabilities. So equity debt ratio. Then for profitability, ang kinukuha natin, gross margin, profit margin rate, then yung mga ROI, ROA, ROE, and OER. So sa gross margin rate, ang formula natin ay gross profit divided by gross sales times 100. Then sa profit margin rate, so net profit divided by net sales times 100. Then dito sa profit margin rate, kinuha yung average doon sa 5 tao. And then ROA, so net income divided by total asset times 100. Then return on owner's equity, ROE. So net income before tax divided by owner's equity times 100. So dito, hindi na yata nalagay nila yung OER, yung operating expense ratio. So operating expense yon, di-divide nyo sa net sales. So, ang kinuha kasi nila ay asset turnover. And then economic viability, so payback period and break-even analysis. So sa payback period, so year, di-divide nyo sa ROI. Yung ROI na nakuha kanina. So since tigi-isang year naman, so 1 divided by yung inyong ROI. So dito sa 2020, 5 years ang payback period. And then in-average yung payback period nitong lema. So 3.6. Then sa break-even analysis, so fixed cost divided by selling price minus variable cost over unit. So, yeah. Okay. So, yan ang ating yung measure doon sa ating financial analysis. Okay, so yan, yun na tapos na ang ating financial aspect. So next ay socio-economic aspect. So ito na ang pinakamadaling aspect doon sa 5. Kasi 2 lang naman ang under nito. So the socio-economic aspect of the study emphasizes the duty of the corporation or ng business or ng company and its assurance of careful consideration of socio-economic factors, so vital to the business, such as the accountability for the improvement of each person employed under its management, their ethical and religious support, its accountability to its consumers or sa customers, and its obligation to the economy. So, sa socio-economic aspect, so ini-indicate lang dito na yung business or yung project ay hindi lang para mag-generate ng profit, kundi para din mag-benefit yung mga tao, yung welfare ng mga tao. So, sabi nga sa inyo, 2 lang. So, we have social desirability and economic desirability. So, pag sinabing social desirability, so ito yung mga trait that makes individual desirable in social and interpersonal relationship. So, ito yung mga social focus. Ito example lang to ha, itong 4 na to. Example lang yan under social desirability. So, mga social focus yan. So, kung may maiisip pa kayo na social focus under social desirability, pwede nyo namang dagdagan. So, yan, generation of employment. So, kung nakakapagbigay ba ng work opportunities, ang project na naiisip nyo. So, improves quality of life. So, syempre, kung nakakapagbigay kayo ng employment, so mag-i-increase ang quality of life, lalo na ng inyong employees. And then, contribution to social development. So, kung kayo ay nagpa-participate sa mga community engagement, kung kayang mag-participate pala sa mga community engagement, lalo na nung naisip nyo na project, so, pwede. And then, revenue generation. So, hindi lang para sa mga workers, so para din sa mga community na surrounding dun sa inyong project. Siyempre, yung mga community na yon ay pwede din silang makapag-raise ng revenue nila. And then, economic desirability. So, ito mga example lang to. So, income generation. Then, increased spending. Siyempre, kapag naman tumatagal ang panahon, ay mag-i-increase ang mga raw materials, machinery, equipment, and so. Tax generation. Siyempre, yung contribution ng business, lalo na kapag yung, siyempre, government, mga tax, form of taxation. And then, stimulation of business. Kung may possibility ba na mag-develop yung business. And last ay contribution of the companies. Siyempre, ang pinaka-contribution talaga ng mga project ay pwede siyang makapag-generate ng employment sa mga tao. And kung may idadagdag pa kayo, pwede nyo idagdag under economic design. So, yun lang. So, yun ang coverage ng ating final exam. So, financial aspect and socio-economic aspect. So, may tanong? May tanong. Wala yung tanong. So, kung wala kayong tanong, so tapos na natin ang ating discussion sa PSIB. So, kailan nyo gustong mag-final exam? Gusto nyo ba next week na or next week? Para tapos na natin tong PCB. Maiksi lang naman kasi talaga itong ating lecture kasi mapapahaba kayo sa laboratory. Kailan nyo gusto? Sige, pag-usapan nyo na lang. And then, kapag meron, kung kailan nyo na gusto mag-exam. Ano lang naman ang exam natin dito? Multiple choice. Hindi ko naman kayo pagko-computein.
Thank you, ma'am.
Napahinga ng
Thank you
malalim
po.
naman kasi wala namang computation. Ano lang. Kasi nga, kaya ako rin hindi papakompute kasi magkakaiba-iba rin naman kayo ng financial aspect sa ng financial statement sa inyong laboratory. Kasi iba-iba naman ang inyong iisipin na na product. Hindi naman kayo tulad-tulad ng product na iisip.
Yun po yung last na lab namin.
Ha? Oo, yun ang lab niyo.
Okay po. Thank you po.
Pero next time pa naman. Ayun, ID yan, mag-usap-usap na lang kayo kung kailan. Kung gusto niyo next week, ready naman ako. Kung gusto niyo ay next week, edi okay. Kung marami pa kayong ginagawa, edi next week. Kung next week, magbibigay na lang ako ng mga quiz. Hindi kasi ako nakapag-prepare ng quiz ngayon eh. Ayun, wala na kayong tanong.
Si Tony po meron.
Ha? Christian,
Si Maritoni po meron.
Tony, anong tanong? Ay, tingin nga. Hindi ko nakita yung After depends daw. After depends? Kailan ba depends nyo? Nasabi na ni Sir JB depends nyo.
Sabi po, third week.
Possible third week.
Third week na ang May? Charot.
Opo.
Alam ka naman June. Third week pala ng May. May pasensya na sa mga ko. Aayusin ko na talaga sa mga advice ko. Let's check ko na talaga this week. Promise. Adi after, teka lang. Kung after ng defense, sabi niyo third week. So, May, third week. Kailan ba ang third week? Nag-1 ng Sunday. Yung 17 to 21, yun ba yun? Yung third week ng May?
Yes po.
So doon kayo magde-defense. Ang tagal! May 24? Okay lang naman. May 24 tayo kayo mag-final exam. Okay lang.
Pag-usapan pa daw po ata namin.
Pasok! Ha?
Okay lang po.
Ay, kailan
Meron
ba
po
yung
kasi
pasahan
ibang
nyo kay Sir kailan yung pasahan nyo kay Sir Willie? Nang napakarami
22
siya.
po.
22. Sige, may gisali pa ako. Sige na, 31 na. May pasok ba yun? May 31?
Ma'am,
Yan, may
pag-uusapan
31.
pa po.
Sige, kayo nang bahala. Mag-usap naman kayo. Madali lang naman final exam ko eh. Tapos
Sige
yan.
po, ma'am.
Sa next week na lang ako magbigay ng quiz about dyan sa financial aspect and socio-economic. Ayun lang. Kung wala nang tanong, alam ko ba na-stop ko na yung recording? Kaya kung wala na kayong tanong, so pwede na kayo mag-leave. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you,
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you po.